Okay, so lesson 1 will be kind of easy. It's just the usual retouch here and there. Here I'm just like fixing some weird joints from the model and also some smoothing out some of the polygons on the dress. Here you can see I'm like fixing the accessory on the face. You can pretty much do anything at this stage, since I want all of you to have like free will and then expressive of your own style, but this is how I usually do things. Normally at this stage I usually just use watercolor brush or airbrush. But here I am like using the flat brush for the hair and then color picking some to like at least have some consistency. I usually just add little strands of hair here and there. Just a reminder to not go overboard. We're currently not doing any sort of shading or lighting at this stage. Just keep it simple and clean. Here I am adding the shades or the shadows inside of the nose, and also like fixing some stuff. Here I'm removing the highlights on the nose, so it'd be much easier to like make my own highlights. So here we can kind of tell where the light is coming, so I am gonna put like, we're gonna do some like sunlight kind of vibe. At this part I'm using the multiply layer. Here I am color picking the skin tone and devaluing it. It's much more easier to do shading when it's like very desaturated, almost no color at all. Here you can see me doing shading for the nose. I am drawing in a triangle shape almost, but it will depend on how your nose is shaped on your character, so you can take liberties in how it will look like when it's shaded. But for this, just do a simple triangle. Connect the shadows of the nose to the eyebrow bridge to add more form and depth. Here you can see me adding a purple color on the eye area. The area of the eyes are very colorful. You can refer to this video in which I learned a lot from. And also if you want to apply it also at the neck area. If you're struggling on which shade of purple or blue you're gonna use, refer to skin palettes that are everywhere on the internet, but also I'll be sending one on your way. If your character has bangs, don't forget to shade it. I'm starting off with a light pink, then I'll be adding a darker shade later. At this stage, I'll be shading the hair. You can choose a similar color to your hair, but also remember to desaturate it. And also use a gray color to shade the hair. Here I'm adding shading to the lips. You can shade it whatever you want. This is how I shade it. You can also add more makeup if you want. For shading Zepeto hair, follow the forms or the large chunk of hair to help guide you on your shading. On this stage, I am gonna use an overlay layer to help brighten the image and bring more color. Adjust the colors to your liking, but remember, do not overdo it. Here you can see me using a light orange hue for the sunlight effect. Be careful on placing it and watch out for the opacity of your brush. Here I'm going back and forth to the overlay layer and the multiply layer to adjust some things. Here we will be using a gradient for the background. I am using a light pink to help complement the character. At this part, I am going back to the same multiply layer to add more shading and make some areas darker. I also use it for makeup, so if you want to adjust or darken your makeup, multiply layer is the best one to use. Now we're entering on lighting. I'll be using the add layer and adding some shines to the eyes or emphasize it. On how you add highlights to your eyes is up to you because it all depends on the contacts or the way you draw your own eyes. Here I'm adding one nose highlight, then adding highlights to the lips. I usually do my lips glossy, but if you want to do it matte, that is up to you. Here I'm using the lighten layer, but later on I'll be changing it into a normal layer. Here we're going back to the add layer to add some highlights to the hair. Add a few strokes on the places you want the highlights to be, and also use either black or transparent to shape the highlights. You can go back and forth on this to make it the way you want it to look. Here we're adding highlights to one side of the hair. Just follow along the dimensions of the hair chunks on your Zepeto. Here we'll be using the dodge layer for some finishing touches. Adjust the colors the way you want it to be, but also remember that going too light on the color that you use will be quite difficult to control, so you can use darker colors while using the dodge layer. Here, click on the three dots on the layer menu to adjust the colors of your background. And here we are now done. All mentees will be submitting their task by Sunday, so be sure to be on time. Thank you.